Don't start Serbia with a map, start with the skyline. This country stacks empires, faith, and modern power into one view.
Serbia is a crossroads, and its architecture doesn't pick one style. It layers time.
In the next minutes, we'll take 5 icons. If you learn their shapes, you'll recognize Serbia anywhere.
Our template is simple. See it, remember it, ask why it looks that way, how it's built, where money goes, and the signature detail.
First icon, where 2 rivers meet, and stone watches the meeting. Belgrade Fortress is Serbia's oldest habit.
Keep your eye on silhouettes today. Serbia is a country you can read in outlines.
This ridge is strategic. It controls river traffic and the plains beyond. That's why fortifications kept returning here.
The fortress you see is layered. Different eras repaired, extended, and reshaped it, so the walls feel like a timeline.
Look closely and you'll see the story. Old blocks beside newer ones. Architecture as evidence, not decoration.
Fortresses aren't just walls. They're systems. Gates, bastions, choke points, and sightlines, designed for control.
Belgrade's position meant repeated pressure. The response was repeated rebuilding, because geography doesn't negotiate.
From here, beauty and power overlap. Rivers are trade routes, supply routes, and borders, especially before highways existed.
Those sharp angles aren't aesthetic. They reduce blind spots and strengthen corners. Form follows survival.
Cost hotspots are invisible. Drainage, foundations, and maintenance. The price is paid in preventing cracks and collapse.
Keeping a fortress alive is slow work. Repointing, stabilizing, cleaning. Small actions that prevent big failures.
If you remember one detail, the fortress frames the confluence like a monument. Serbia drawn as stone above water.
Now we move from defense to devotion. Second icon, a dome so large it becomes a compass.
You don't just see Saint Sava, you navigate by it. It's designed to be unmistakable.
Saint Sava is Neo-Byzantine on purpose. Serbia placing Orthodox identity directly onto the skyline.
Byzantine forms read instantly. Arches, domes, and balanced geometry. The message is continuity with older sacred architecture.
Big domes demand big waterproofing. The building's beauty depends on hidden layers keeping water out for decades. Inside, scale becomes physical. The dome isn't just seen, it's felt.
Because monumental doesn't mean random. Repetition and proportion guide your eyes upward, making the space feel ordered and calm. Construction began in 1935, then stopped for decades. The building's timeline mirrors the region's upheavals.
Engineering first. Assemble the dome safely on the ground, control the geometry, then prepare the lift with precision.
In 1989, a roughly 4,000-ton concrete dome was lifted into place, one of the most dramatic construction moves in Europe.
Domes look smooth, but they're born from rebar, formwork, and curing, controlled steps that trade time for reliability. White stone shows every mistake. That's why cladding and detailing are expensive. Precision, quality control, and careful installation.
Then comes the luxury layer, mosaics and interior finishes, skilled labor, slow installation, and materials that must last.
This is how architecture creates memory. Scale, light, and a single dominant form.
Remember the silhouette. Bright mass, giant dome, calm authority. You can spot it in seconds from almost any angle.
Third icon flips the mood. Yugoslav modernism. Concrete confidence, built to look like the future.
Meet Genex Tower, the western city gate. Architecture that announces arrival, not quietly, but unmistakably.
Its shape is a logo in concrete. 2 vertical slabs, a bridge, and a round crown that completes the portal. Brutalism reads as honest material. The structure isn't hidden, it's displayed, with every pore line and surface scar visible.
The idea was symbolic, an entrance from the west. It's civic theater for motorists, fast, bold, unforgettable.
Completed around the late 1970s, it carries an era's belief that the future could be engineered and inhabited.
Connections are expensive. A bridge high in the air means extra structure, complex load paths, and more maintenance forever.
The biggest costs aren't dramatic shots. They're elevators, HVAC, water pressure, and concrete repair that never truly ends.
Concrete ages in public. Keeping it safe means inspections, sealing, and repairs. Small actions that prevent big failures.
That circular crown makes the whole building readable from far away, like a punctuation mark at the end of the skyline.
Genex doesn't just stand alone. It anchors the urban scale around it, giving the flat landscape a focal point. Fourth icon, Avala Tower. Pure function, turned into a symbol, then rebuilt when the symbol was lost.
Avala is a broadcast tower and a viewpoint, but it also serves as a landmark you can point to without words. The original tower opened in 1965, was destroyed in 1999, and later rebuilt because certain shapes matter to identity.
Rebuilding began in 2006, and it reopened in 2010.
At roughly 204 meters tall, it turns geography into a view, and the view into a memory.
Cost hotspots here are clear. Steel and reinforced concrete, elevators, safety systems, and constant upkeep in harsh weather.
Unlike a fortress, a tower signals peacetime connectivity, broadcast, communication, and a shared horizon.
A skyline icon is powerful because it outlasts daily change. Avala does that, especially after being rebuilt.
Now the surprise. Head north, and Serbia changes texture, Central European color, curves, and Art Nouveau craft.
Subotica carries Hungarian secession, Art Nouveau that feels illustrated, with folk motifs baked into architecture.
City Hall is the civic postcard, built in the early 1900s, designed to turn government into beauty and color.
Here, money goes into craft, custom ornament, ceramics, glass, and restoration that treats details like jewelry.
Art Nouveau pulls you upward with lines and light, not with brute mass. That's why it feels soft and human.
The synagogue repeats the language, modern structure and folk-inspired decoration, so sacred space becomes recognizable at a glance. Inside, pattern becomes atmosphere. It'll the opposite of brutalist concrete, yet both are unforgettable when seen once.
Restoration is expensive because it's precise. You're not repainting a wall. You're preserving handcrafted identity.
This contrast is Serbia's superpower. One country, multiple architectural accents, shaped by history and geography.
To complete the story, we need medieval stone, architecture that holds Serbia's deepest cultural memory.
Studenica, founded in the late 12th century, is white marble authority. Simple proportions, heavy stone, timeless presence.
Medieval cost hotspots were physical, quarrying, transporting, and cutting stone. The budget was carried on oxen and backs. Then art becomes the treasure, frescoes and conservation. Skilled work fighting moisture, smoke, and centuries of time. Manasija, built in the early 15th century, merges monastery and fortress. Spiritual interior wrapped in defense. That dual instinct is Serbian. Protect what matters. Architecture here is not only beauty, it's insurance against history. Even in restraint, you get a signature. Local patterns and proportions make these places Serbian, not generic medieval. In rural Serbia, the landmarks whisper instead of shout. But their silhouettes stay with you just as long.
Now log the checklist. 5 icons, 1 identity. If you learn the shapes, you can read Serbia in 10 seconds.
1. A fortress above 2 rivers meeting. Belgrade as a hinge where geography becomes strategy, again and again.
2. A giant Neo-Byzantine dome, Saint Sava, built to be seen from
3. A concrete gateway, Genex Tower, 2 towers linked by a bridge, finishing with a circular crown like a city emblem.
4. A broadcast needle, Avala, destroyed and rebuilt, reminding you that modern symbols can be restored by choice.
5. Northern Art Nouveau, Subotica's secession curves and craft, where money lives in detail and restoration.
And the hidden anchor, medieval monasteries, serene interiors guarded by stone, where identity survives through centuries.
Serbia is a stacked story, empire roots, sacred geometry, socialist modernism, and
Once you recognize these outlines, you don't just visit Serbia, you understand it faster, because memory has a shape. Next episode, we use the same template on another country. 5 icons, 1 identity, and a skyline you won't forget. Because architecture isn't only monuments, it's daily life around them, how people move, gather, and feel their city.
Fortress, dome, concrete gate, needle tower, northern Art Nouveau, and medieval stone, Serbia, recognizable in a heartbeat.
When you can recognize a country by architecture, travel becomes deeper, because you start seeing history in the built world.